You guys know, who is this? Oregon? Hello? I have not. I'm currently not in the market for a new assignment. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You too. Bye-bye. Because the travel companies don't stop this again. Take two. Hey G Nation, it's your favorite nurse Jasmine, and I'm back today with another video. So today's video is going to be revealing what my specialty is. I know you guys have been waiting so long for this video, and I've put it off for a very long time because I wanted to do a YouTube video and like reveal it, but then life got in the way. If you have not seen my updated videos, I have two videos. One is kind of like where I've been updating you on life. Then the second one is kind of like new grad during COVID, post-grad depression, kind of things that I've been dealing with, or that I was dealing with, am dealing with in life. So those videos will be posted below. If you want to check those out, you definitely can. This video will probably make a little bit more sense. Not necessarily you have to watch those before you watch this video, but if you're just like, yo, she popped back up on YouTube, like, where you been? And y'all know YouTube algorithm is weird. Some people get notifications on my videos, some people don't, because I've been gone for a year. Now that that is all out of the way, I want to tell you guys what I do, but y'all know I just can't give it to you that easy. Like, I'm not gonna do that. I gotta make you wait for it for a little bit. So the first thing I'm gonna do is tell you guys the top 3 specialties I planned on doing prior to graduating NP school. When I initially decided that I was gonna do NP school, or that I was gonna apply, my goal was ultimately to do aesthetics. So I wanted to be a nurse practitioner that specialized in aesthetics. I either wanted to work in an aesthetic clinic or potentially work my way up to owning my own clinic. I wanted to do Botox, lip fillers, cool sculpting, all the like cosmetic, pretty aesthetic part of being a nurse practitioner. That's just kind of what I wanted to do. Or if I needed to kind of like get into plastic surgery realm, that's kind of what I wanted to do. And of course COVID happened, and once that happened, I just knew that was not the route that I wanted to go into. To me, I'm not saying that every aesthetics clinic or practice did terrible during COVID, because they didn't. It just, for me to think about potentially opening up my own clinic and solely be something that really doesn't go through insurance, that is pay out of pocket, things like that, I just didn't feel like it was a reliable thing for me to do. It didn't have a safety net, let's put it that way. And I love nursing and medical because it's a safety net. It's a guaranteed job. And even though I was really into that at one point, no, I've never had anything cosmetically done. My lips are my lips, like my face is my face. I've never had anything cosmetically done, but that's what I was interested in. And that's kind of what I thought I was gonna do. So as we know, that didn't happen, but that was initially my top specialty that I was veering into the realm of doing. And then when I realized that that wasn't gonna happen, I was like, okay, what is an easy way to transition from ICU to a nurse practitioner? Urgent care. I can do urgent care or like ER, emergency, not necessarily emergency room, but like the standalone little ER clinics that are kind of like urgent cares, because I knew I didn't want to do like an actual emergency room attached to a hospital. But I was like, an urgent care or like a standalone ER, which is pretty much like an urgent care. I was like, that would be great. Like, you know, I will see your DKAs, I will see your respiratory patients, and then of course it's your typical flus, colds. At that time it was COVID, you know, and I was like, great. So what I did my last semester was I got a urgent care preceptor. She was fantastic. She was amazing. I enjoyed, like, I learned a lot from her, and she allowed me to practice independently on, like, she would see her patients. So it was like we switched off every other patient. She would take a patient, I would take a patient. She would take one, I would take one. I did all the charting, all that stuff. I ordered all imaging. I hated it. Oh my God. I did not like urgent care. It just was not what I thought it was gonna be. I don't know if it was the location of the urgent care, so the population that I got. It was a very small urgent care, but it was just not what I thought it was gonna be. It did not transition well from ICU, and I was just like, yeah, no, this is gonna be a no for me. It was still 12-hour shifts, so I was doing 9 to 9. I was not required to stay there for 12 hours, but y'all know, if y'all watch some of my old videos, I front loaded all of my clinical hours. So as many hours as I could take in a day, that's what I was doing. So I literally worked 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and those hours were terrible, like terrible. That is your whole day. I would rather do a 7 to 7, but that 9 to 9, I was like, oh no ma'am, that's gonna be a no for me. And then, you know, they're open on the weekends. I was like, no, this is just not what I thought it was going to be. So therefore I was like, no, urgent care is just not it. My third specialty, which I still very much hold that in the future, is there a possibility that I could do it? Yes. This third specialty is something that if I was able to find a position that will let me go part-time or something in that nature, if the perfect opportunity presented itself and it fit well with what I do, it's definitely something that I would be interested in, and I know it's gonna catch all of you guys off guard. Y'all ready for it? Are y'all ready? You ready? Pediatric primary care. I know y'all are like, what? Because I was the same way. This was actually my second clinical site that I had my last semester. Yes, I had 2 different clinical sites because I needed to get my pediatric hours, and then we were allowed to do a specialty. So I took the opportunity to get 2 preceptors, and I was able to find 2, so I took advantage of it, and I got my clinical hours done almost in like a month. Probably a little bit over a month, maybe like about 40-ish days, but I stacked all my hours. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I did pediatric primary care, and I absolutely loved it. My nurse practitioner was fantastic. She actually didn't even live in my town, but she worked in my town, so my clinical was literally like 2 minutes away from my house. No exaggeration. She was able to do circumcisions in the hospital. She did like a whole bunch of training and hours and all this other stuff that you have to do in order to do it. But she was able to do circumcisions independently as a nurse practitioner in the hospital. We also did inductions. We were on to do a delivery, but she didn't deliver that day. So the next provider that took over call delivered that lady's baby. So I never got to deliver or be there for a delivery, but we did so many newborn checks, which was so freaking fun. Like, I loved it. Just regular, you know, checkups, your newborn checkup, your 2-week checkup, then your 2 months, and you know, we did all of those. She was letting me see my own patients. I even had a lady that I saw her and her son, and they requested me on their next visit, which felt so good as a student. They were like, is Jasmine in today? And they were like, yes. It was like, oh, could she please see us? And so the nurse came in and was like, hey, she's requesting the student. And my preceptor was like, okay, you've already formed a relationship with them, go in there and do that. I'm gonna go see this other patient. Like, it was so nice, and I literally had so much fun in peds. You know, you get your occasional sick visits. We did have one CPS case that was very difficult to deal with, and it was a learning opportunity for me. I very much enjoyed it. So once I had moved back to Texas, I looked for a lot of pediatric primary care positions, but during COVID and everything going to telemed and things like that, and I didn't have any experience, I just was not able to find anybody that would give me the opportunity. Like, I just could not even like sucked it up and applied to a pediatric urgent care, and they told me to come to reapply after I hit 2 years of having experience. So it was like everyone just kind of wanted experience that I didn't have at the time, so I didn't end up there. But once I legit graduated, I was like, okay, I'm gonna find someone that's going to let me work in peds. Like I said, if there was the opportunity to work in a pediatric primary care facility while doing what I currently do, I would definitely take advantage of that, as long as it just kind of fit in with my lifestyle and my schedule. My schedule is pretty crazy, so it would just have to make sense in order for me to do it. So now that I've told you guys my top 3, so we got aesthetics, we got urgent care, and we got pediatric primary care. I know those are completely different from my ICU world, and I didn't even go into any of those. And I'm gonna shock you guys once I tell you what I do. But before I tell you what I do, I want you guys to leave a comment below and tell me what you think it is. Just throw it out there. All right, time's up. The big reveal is that your girl works in addiction medicine. I know you guys are like, what the heck? What? What's really good? How? I know. So let me tell you guys, I have absolutely no idea how this job presented itself to me. And what I mean by that is, I told you guys that I applied to almost every job that was on Indeed, on ZipRecruiter, on USA Govs, whatever I seen like a position for, I applied to it. I don't remember applying to this position. And the reason why I'm saying that is because most of the nurse practitioners in this position are psychiatric nurse practitioners. And when I went back on Indeed and looked at the other facilities, I was like, they're asking for psych NP. So I don't know. Somehow my application ended up on the director of nursing computer. And she called me. I legit was not even going to answer the phone because I was working in cardiac rehab and I was busy. But something told me to just pick up the phone, so I answered the phone and she brought me in for an interview. So when I initially started, I was a 1099, so I was a contract employee, and I was doing 2 days a week. So I was still working in COVID ICU, and then I was working 2 days a week in the facility that I work in now, which of course I'm not gonna tell you guys the name of it, but I was working there. And then in March, I was presented the opportunity of going W-2, so I did, of course, because I enjoyed what I do. It was a huge learning curve because I've never worked in mental health. So as far as like alcohol, drug abuse, any kind of substance addiction, those things, when they come to me in the ICU, they're usually overdoses and they are intubated and sedated. And then once they're not, we do CWAS, and once they're, you know, functioning, you know, we move them out, you know. So I did not have a lot of experience, and I was very upfront with her. I said, look, this is going to be a huge learning curve for me. I am definitely able to learn it, you know what I'm saying? I am always up for any opportunity of learning a new trade, a new specialty, but it is just something that I have no experience with. So I had to do a lot of self-education. I had to do a lot of questions. I still call my providers when I have any kind of questions. Our newest medical director is a fantastic psychiatrist, and she just has so much knowledge in her brain. So we do weekly meetings, and during our weekly meetings, and we go through the case, our caseload, I am asking questions after questions. I'm writing them down, even if it pertains to things that like pregnant patients, and we don't actively take care of pregnant patients, but if it's an opportunity to learn it, I'm asking because she's just so knowledgeable. So I deal with everything from crack, cocaine, meth, alcohol, methadone, Subutex, Suboxone abuse, THC abuse. We do Molly, Xanax, any kind of opiates, any kind of benzos. We do synthetics such as like kratom and like K2, things like that. We do everything, and it has been such a blessing in disguise, because when I tell you that I absolutely love what I do, I love it. Is it difficult, and do I have some hard days, and are there some days where I want to pull all this hair out of my head? Absolutely. But being in addiction medicine, because I do come from a large family history of drug abuse, so I get them. I can share from a family's point of view, and you know, it's different. So I still treat like high blood pressure, hypothyroid. We still do, I mean, STDs is huge in this population, so I literally treat every STD that you can think of. And pancreatitis, cirrhosis, those are really big in this population as well, so we treat that. I mean, I still do your primary care stuff, but I don't do any like preventative care. So if it's something that you're coming into me with like acute new diabetics and things like that, we treat that. But as far as like colonoscopies and like your vaccines and stuff like that, we don't deal with anything. We get them through detox rehab, well, detox residential PHP, and then, you know, we form a relapse preventative plan and things like that, and then give them the resources to use on their way out. It's really cool. Definitely nothing that I would have ever seen myself doing, and now I definitely can't see myself doing anything else. I know I'm kind of like a sucker. Like, even when it came to nursing school, I never worked outside of ICU, besides like, you know, the occasional, I help in cardiac rehab, I help in PCU and like IMCU, like the step downs, but for the most part I have always been an ICU nurse. And as a new grad, I came into addiction medicine, and it's just kind of sucked me into it, and I really do enjoy it. Yeah, it makes sense for me. I know you guys are wondering like, oh my God, they let you do yes, I wear my hair the way I wear it. I showed up to my interview with red hair. Everyone absolutely loves it. I have no complaints about, you know, my appearance. So yeah, there's that. The nursing staff that we have is fantastic. It's just been a great fit for me. And yeah, that's where I plan to be for a long time. I can't say this will, you know, be forever, because hopefully I don't have to move again. But as far as like addiction medicine goes, this is where I will be. So that is what I do. If you guys have any specific questions, definitely let me know. Leave it below. I will do my best to answer. And until the next, follow me over on the gram. And until the next video, I'll see all you hunts later. Bye. Mwah.